Hello everyone, this is Yan Hun. The story I bring to you today, I collected from several friends, happened to them personally. Next, I will take you into the first-person perspective. So, the story begins. The contributor of the first story told me this thing mainly happened to his classmate. Let's call the protagonist Zhao A. This happened a few months ago. Our school organized students in our grade to a base on a mountain for study tour. This base is built on a mountain next to a large reservoir. The main activity area for students in the base are 2 dormitories and a teaching building. The positions of these 2 bases are located below and above the hillside. This base, we came here once last year, but boys lived in the upper building and girls lived downstairs. The base is built between mountains and rivers. Some of our classmates who know about this said that it was a place where yin energy gathered. Last year when I came, there were indeed some incidents. A boy in class 5 went to the reservoir. He went to the reservoir to play by himself. Several other boys in his class found him missing, so they went to the woods to look for him. But they didn't find him after an hour and came back. But less than 5 minutes after they came back, the boy came out of the woods and walked along the road. And he took the same road they used to find people. He said he wanted to come back after wandering in the woods, but he couldn't find his way back. It only took 10 minutes to go there. It took him an hour to walk back. He was finally criticized by the teacher. Let's talk about this year's change. I don't know why this year suddenly swapped the dormitories. We didn't take it seriously, but after we moved in, we found the layout of the girls' dormitory was strange. The school arranges rooms by student ID, and we 5 boys were added later, so we lived in a small room together. In that room, there were 3 bunk beds placed in a row, which looked like coffins. Opposite our bed is a mirror, which can scare you when you wake up. That can scare you when you see it. Next to it is a large cabinet. The door is broken and couldn't be closed. And what's even weirder is, although it was summer, all the rooms were hot. But even without the air conditioner on, was significantly lower than other rooms. Nothing happened on the first day. When we came back at night, we found the water heater was not turned on, so we had to sleep with a stinky body. During the lunch break the next day, we told horror stories in our dormitory. Because I usually like watching these things, so we gathered together to tell stories. But telling in that room, compared to the usual classroom, felt completely different. It felt like when you were telling, as if many pairs of eyes were staring at you. I don't know what we said at that time. We suddenly decided to say we would play the 4-corner game together in the room. But the only Muslim in our dormitory, Zhao, said he had a faith and was afraid that if we played, he would move to room 303 next door. We all agreed to that. But when we were about to play games, I don't know which gossiping classmate told the teacher. Plus, I also thought the feng shui of this place was not good. So we were forced to stop. In the afternoon, we had a study tour project to catch butterflies on the mountain. Everything was fine at first. I was the leader of our group, so I kept playing with the net for catching butterflies. Later, Zhao A was really bored, so he asked me for it, and went to a grassy area to catch butterflies. But he went for a long time, until all of us in the class left. He hadn't come out. It was until we called him, he came out of the grass. After coming back from the mountain, Zhao A's condition was not as good as before. Zhao A was a lively person. He became a little listless, with empty eyes, and walks slowly. We often told him to hurry up and follow, and he would slowly walk over. He didn't talk much to others all night. After returning to dormitory, we told ghost stories as usual. But when we were halfway through, in our dormitory, a classmate who knew a little bit about it, Zhao B suddenly said he had opened his eyes, saying that Zhao A who moved to dormitory 303. After saying that, he went to check. After he came back, he told us that there was something on Zhao A. But the next second after he said that, the fire alarms in our entire building all started to ring non-stop. According to common sense, the fire alarm should only ring on the floor. It should only ring on that floor. How could the whole building go off at once? We didn't think much at the time. and ran downstairs in a panic in slippers. After going downstairs, we found that there was no fire in the whole building. The fire alarm in the whole building for more than half an hour. The maintenance staff came for a long time and couldn't find the reason. Finally, I don't know what method was used to turn it off. But about this thing, the teacher gave us an explanation like this. A classmate sprayed insecticide at the smoke alarm, which caused the fire alarm, but we couldn't figure it out. Who would stay up at 10:30 at night, spraying insecticide at the smoke alarm? This incident has caused panic. Everyone thought we were playing with a spirit board, and lighting candles triggered it. After returning upstairs, Zhao B called Zhao C, who was sleeping next to Zhao A, called him over and drew a talisman for him and told him to keep it safe. After that, we went back to our dormitories to sleep. The next day, I heard from Zhao C. He couldn't sleep all night, tossing and turning until 12 o'clock. At this time, he felt that there was movement in Zhao A's bed, so he turned around and took a look. He saw Zhao A suddenly sit up straight and stare at the wall, staring at the wall ahead. At this time, Zhao C's talisman also started to feel significantly hot, which scared him to close his eyes, and he didn't know how he fell asleep. Then what happened was, it was the dormitory 203. There was a student. After the incident in room 303, about 5 minutes later, suddenly started to have muscles and convulsed. After 2 classmates were woken up, they shook him together. But no matter how they shook him, he never woke up. Then the younger brother convulsed for about a minute before he stopped. Finally, it was our dormitory 305. Our dormitory is almost at the end of the floor, and the hillside was outside the window. I was in a half-awake and half-asleep state. I couldn't sleep, tossing and turning. But for a period of time, I suddenly felt that our dormitory became extremely cold. The air conditioner was set at 21 degrees. But I'm sure the perceived temperature at that time felt much colder than turning it to 16. This situation lasted for a while, and the temperature gradually returned to normal. But what's terrifying is that the dogs outside the window suddenly started barking. I'm not sure if something was coming up the mountain. Everyone was in a bad state. The next day, the usually energetic little brother took a tour drive. He slept almost the whole journey. Zhao C and Zhao A were also listless. In fact, up to here, we still believed that it was a series of coincidences. But when I was about to leave the base, I just saw that 500 or 600 meters away from our dormitory is a mass grave. There were many graves and tombstones. Most of them were tilted and fell on the ground, and scattered paper money on the ground. We all broke out in a cold sweat. So we went to the temple to pray after we got home. But Zhao B still had some inexplicable bruises. He said, "They came to find me, but nothing happened to him." So we didn't worry too much. Later, we found out that Zhao B, who said he knew something before, was lying and deceiving that night, which he later admitted was a lie himself. In fact, what we encountered wasn't that scary. According to the girls who lived here before, in our building at that time, when a girl was alone in her room, she seemed to see something particularly terrifying and trembled with fear. Others asked him what he was afraid of when he came back. He said nothing. There happened to be someone who knew, began to calculate, but halfway through, the girl suddenly started bleeding heavily and couldn't stop it. And the talisman she carried with her also cracked. I don't know if there was something stopping them. The girls also said that when they lived there, the building always tripped, or the whole building would lose power. Later, when there was a power outage, they saw that a woman in a Qing dynasty-style charm squatting at the foot of the wall, with her hair loose, with her hair very long and her face unclear. After the power was restored, the woman disappeared. They were also scared. So until now, I also doubt that, whether the base leaders deliberately let us boys live in to help suppress something in the girls' dormitory. The contributor of the second story told me that he experienced an paranormal horror event. Let's call him Zhao A for now. Zhao A told me that he has experienced 2 things. The first thing was a few days before this year's tomb sweeping day. At 11:30 p.m., someone opened the door of our dormitory and quickly closed the door again. Those who have lived in a school dormitory know that, when they couldn't sleep at night, we'll run to other dorms to chat with classmates who hadn't slept yet and play. Zhao A thought it was just visiting, but just went to the wrong dormitory, so he didn't suspect anything, since his roommate had already fallen asleep, and the light was off. Zhao A only saw a very short person. At 12 o'clock, Zhao A wasn't sleepy either, so he decided to lie on the balcony railing and smoke. Because the other side of the dormitory balcony was a wasteland, and the wasteland was next to someone's house. Zhao A was bored and lonely at that time, so he decided to wake up the person next to him to smoke together. As soon as Zhao A got out of bed, he lay down and fell asleep again. I thought I would wake him up to chat. After smoking, I didn't wear glasses. I saw a black mass on the school wall. There was a dark mass. I put on my glasses and saw. I found a person climbing the wall and staring at me. I was brave at that time, thinking he was a thief or something, because there had been such cases in the school, but the more I looked, the less I could see his face. I can only vaguely see that. It was a middle-aged, bald uncle. The feeling of fear and being peeped suddenly came. I quickly closed the sliding window and curtains. Because the school wall was 3 or 4 meters high, the man's head seemed to be just the height of the school's wall. I quickly woke up the person next to me, saying there was a ghost. He didn't believe. Then he saw that I was about to cry, so he opened a crack in the curtain and looked out. He said it was foggy outside. My heart sank immediately. There were few people, and I didn't dare to stay. So I ran to another dormitory with more people. I couldn't sleep in that dormitory. At around 4 o'clock, I suddenly saw the door open at some point, a gap that could fit one person through. The window wasn't opened in the dorm. After a while, nothing happened. Just as I was about to fall asleep, I heard someone calling my name. It sounded old, and called my name twice. I didn't dare to answer. Zhao A covered herself with the quilt and fell asleep slowly. In the morning, Zhao A immediately told the teacher that and went home. I told my grandma as soon as I got home. My grandma called my mom to my room. I listened to half of it outside. And it was true because she had experienced it. Because she had experienced it when she was young. And she found someone who could see things to solve it. Later, it was my grandma burned paper money for me for 3 or 4 hours, and it was okay. The second thing was at the end. The school organized a hiking trip. Zhao A's class set off from the town and was about to leave the town. The group passed through a village. When they reached an alley, there was a tractor nearby. Zhao A climbed up the tractor by accident. When he climbed halfway, the person next to him immediately pulled Zhao A down. Zhao A was a little angry at that time, asking him what he did. He said, "Zhao A, you're crazy." Zhao A said too soon. He said, "Look what's on the tractor." Zhao A saw it was a coffin. Zhao A was so scared that his legs went weak. I couldn't sleep when I got home the next night. At around 3 o'clock, he heard a child crying very sadly, until 4 o'clock in the morning. Zhao A said he didn't know whether he fell asleep or the child stopped crying. When he woke up, Zhao A checked the internet, comforting himself that it was a cat in heat. But he still couldn't sleep on Saturday night. It was still windy. Zhao A sent a message to ask his friend, and his friend said there was no wind. Suddenly, the door of Zhao A's room opened. The door was a latched door. Before going to bed, Zhao A checked it carefully, and no one got up to go to the bathroom. The door should be closed tightly. But the wind kept blowing the door, and the door creaked and groaned. Zhao A was scared to death. So Zhao A woke up his younger brother and asked him to check, and the door was really open, and the younger brother closed the door. Zhao A fell asleep shortly after the door was closed. This probably happened around March. Happened when I was in my hometown. Recently, something happened to Zhao A at home, probably in the early morning of June 7th. Zhao A often wakes up thirsty in the middle of night. Tonight was no exception. Zhao A went to drink a glass of water half asleep. Zhao A's family sleeps lightly, so in order not to disturb their rest, Zhao A often goes out through a folding glass door to drink water. After coming back, He didn't close the door and opened it and left a gap that allowed Zhao A to pass through and fell asleep again. Then Zhao A suddenly opened her eyes and lay in bed and felt a sense of being peeped at, which was amplified at this time. Zhao A was also bedridden. Sometimes, listening to horror stories told by bloggers at night, I also get scared and dare not move. It's that kind of feeling. At this moment, Zhao A's peripheral vision suddenly drifted towards the crack where the glass door opened and saw a head in the upper left corner was looking at Zhao A. Zhao A was scared at this time. She wanted to call her parents, but couldn't open her mouth. The head slowly came towards Zhao A. When it was close, Zhao A could only see that the thing only had an upper body. It floated straight to Zhao A's side. Zhao A was scared and broke out in a cold sweat. According to his later recall, it was terrifying. There was a dark upper body. Zhao was in that state of not being able to see clearly. I don't know how long it lasted. He found that his body could move slowly. Then he looked out the window. He found that it was already dawn. Zhao A said that the half-body he saw, to be exact, was initially tilted and looking at me. Later, Zhao A told me that his family found a master who can see things, saying he lacked fire in his life and the character Han in his name. Zhao A's family found a lucky day to change name, but he didn't know which day it was exactly. The third story is a horror event experienced by the submitter. We call the contributor A Ying here. First, let me tell you that it was A Ying herself that she had encountered something incredible. At that time, A Ying didn't think in that direction. She just thought she was mentally ill. Because A Ying was almost admitted to a mental hospital. But on his way to the mental hospital on leave, he suddenly didn't want to. And then his parents took him to see a fortune teller and did some rituals. And the whole thing was resolved. A Ying is a senior 3 student, although his grades were okay, but his mental state was not good. At that time, the college entrance examination was coming, which led to a lot of pressure in his heart. So he couldn't sleep well at night and in a daze. He could hear the sound of walking and flipping pages, the sound of walking and turning pages. It feels like someone is reading while walking because Ying's mother often has insomnia, and she likes to look through the family's account books and do some accounting at night. A Ying's mother gets up to avoid disturbing A Ying's sleep, so she deliberately walked. She deliberately kept quiet. So it leads to A Ying simply thought that was the voice of his mother. And A Ying has several houses. No matter which house he lived in, he could hear this sound. And in every house, A Ying's room is very close to the living room. He could hear this sound every time, so he thought it was his mother's fault. Then, in the first few months of last year, I finally fell asleep in the middle of night. I was always in a daze, and I had to get up early for school. But at that time, A Ying would wake up 1 to 2 hours earlier every day. It was around 4:30 to 5:30 in the morning to wake up.
阿影就半睡半醒之间，听到有个人在喊他起床。
He said, "A Ying, get up quickly. Why don't you get up yet? If you don't get up, you'll be late." Then, at this time, A Ying will get up very obediently and get up immediately, sitting on the bed in a daze. This situation lasted for several days. It only happened at night at first, and then it happened at noon as well. The incident escalated a bit at this point. As I mentioned, A Ying couldn't sleep well at night. She was lying in bed. There is a long hallway in the living room. When the door is open, she can see it directly and saw the hallway. A Ying stares at it every night, and the darkness made her feel scared. The level of her fear is that when she submits it, she feels scared when she recalls it, and she doesn't know what she's afraid of. A Ying was a little mentally ill. At that time, he had hallucinations. He simply thought it was his own mental problem. One day, he couldn't help telling his mother, A Ying's mother. She didn't allow A Ying to close the door at home. However, after A Ying told his mother what he saw, A Ying's mother simply closed the door. A Ying thought it would be fine after closing it, in the middle of night. A Ying didn't know if it was a dream or she was awake. He saw a process which was probably like this. He saw the door being pushed open. There was a long-haired, dark black, with a clearly human silhouette standing at the door. Then he couldn't see anything else clearly, and he could only see a blurry outline. He said, "Get up quickly, and kept repeating it. According to him, he hadn't slept well for a long time and had a lot of stress, and he had mental problems himself. During those days, Ying was on the verge collapse. Then one day in class, Ying caught a glimpse of a black shadow outside and flashed by. She thought the dean was coming, so he poked his deskmate, telling him to stop talking, saying the dean was coming. But after reminding him twice or 3 times, the director didn't come. The students all thought Ying was playing tricks on them. They said no one came at all. After hearing what they said, he realized that he might have seen that thing again. Then Ying asked for leave to go home when she told her mother. She was a little skeptical at first. Because of her previous withdrawal, my mother had been unhappy. Then when I told my mother to ask for leave to go to the hospital to see a psychiatrist, my mother got angry. I quarreled with my mother. I felt very uncomfortable at that time. Then Ying cut 2 big cuts on his hand. He said afterwards he really didn't want to hurt himself. He is not the kind of person who would cut himself, although he has some mental problems. But I really rarely do such things. We were having dinner. Ying couldn't control herself anymore. She hugged her chest with both hands and scratched her arm, and she scratched deep marks on both sides, and it bled. Ying's mother might have noticed something wrong, so she agreed to take her to the mental hospital. Ying said the journey to the mental hospital was very long. When they were halfway there, he suddenly felt that he didn't really want to go, because mental hospitals are really depressing, just like in jail. When the doctor asked him to stay in the hospital, he really felt uncomfortable. I really didn't want to go. To be honest, although I want to be cured, I really didn't want to go back. At this time, Ying was chatting with her mother. I don't know why, and we talked about maybe I had encountered something unclean. Then, my mother took me to a small gymnasium, which is similar to a rural, self-built house, but there were many statues and other things. After entering, we did many rituals, burned 2 boxes of paper money, and made a small paper figure as a substitute, and wrote Ying's name and the date of birth and other papers, and burned them all. By the river, finally, Ying wrote a petition, bowed to the idols, bowing to each statue first, and then kowtowed 3 times. Ying said that he was very tired after finishing them, as if I was about to collapse on the ground. At that time, he started some divination-like activities. What's amazing is that he calculated the approximate location of my home, where my kitchen is located in my house. At first, he mentioned 2 or 3 features, all matched my home. At this time, I already believed what he said. Then he said that there must be a hospital near my home. I told him that it was true. There is a big hospital near my home. Then the master said that I was under too much pressure recently, and it was my menstrual period, and I felt very weak, and I was haunted by that thing at this time. The main thing is that a more powerful one haunting you. After that, more of those little things will be attached to you. So, which led to your current situation getting worse. Then he said, I'll help Ying deal with the small things today, and the powerful one, we need to ask more masters to do it. He can't do it alone, and ask Ying to come back the next day. Ying said the next day. She didn't know why. She didn't remember to go to the temple and went to school directly. Ying went home after she finished that day. That night, her mother knew that Ying couldn't sleep well, so she slept with Ying that night. That night, her mother said Ying's condition was particularly bad. Although Ying doesn't remember what he did, his mother told him that he suddenly sat up in the middle. He suddenly sat up and kept shouting after he woke his mother up. He was groggy. He remembered waking up a little bit and then fell asleep again. He suddenly started screaming again, saying he was so scared. Then the mother let Ying sleep bed with him. The next day, the person from the Taoist temple called Ying if it was useful. Mother told him that A Ying was in a particularly bad condition last night and told him what had happened. Anyway, the master explained a lot and I didn't understand. Then, that morning, we invited 4 or 5 relatives to kowtow. Because I went to school, I invited my relatives to do rituals over there. They kowtowed and performed rituals for about 5 or 6 hours. After the ceremony, until now, I don't know if it's psychological or the ritual worked. I feel much better now. A Ying has been, until now, there haven't been any special abnormalities. The wounds and scars on my hands have not completely disappeared, but it's much better now. Anyway, that's really useful. My mom will let me burn paper when she's free. Later, the master calculated. Hanged student was haunting a Ying. The following content is inferred by a Ying herself. The thing that has been haunting a Ying is the same age as him. A Ying is in the Senior 3 rocket class, and he was also in the rocket class. He was in his first year of high school and second year. He hanged himself on the balcony of his home in the early morning. The community where he died was right across from a Ying's community, and the distance between them is very close. It was only about 100 or 200 meters away, and the class of a Ying and his class was separated by only one classroom. Mother said, a Ying has a godfather who is very knowledgeable in this area. She will take a Ying back to her hometown in Guizhou to raise his sexual desire, to avoid such things in the future. Okay, this is the end of the submissions of the 3. Thank you for listening. If you also want to contribute, please add the contact information on my homepage and share your stories with me. Wish you all have a great day.